Business students, welcome to week 3 of our course here at EC3. Okay, hopefully you are able to, I think all of you got me your companies. Maybe one of you is missing your company still. And you're able to start thinking about your project that I posted last week in week 2. That will also be available, that project outline and the course specific content. All right, so last week, which is due tonight, we finished up chapters 3 and 4. This week, we are looking at chapters 5 and 6. And if you go onto Blackboard, week 3 is up and running. And there's also a discussion post this week, as well as 2 homework assignments and a short video. All right, so chapter 5, business communication, creating and delivering messages that matter. So chapter 5, when you go in and you look through the chapter and read through the chapter, and then once you look through the PowerPoint, we'll talk, the PowerPoint reviews the chapter and talks a lot about, this idea of a sender and a recipient, the idea of communication barriers, what they are and how to, physical barriers, language barriers, perceptual barriers, kind of going into detail, organizational barriers, cultural barriers, some of the things that make it difficult for us to communicate either with coworkers or maybe with individuals from other organizations or businesses. And how do we overcome those, right? To get to have smoother communication, more effective communication. And some tips for better listening do's and don'ts, so go through those. Communication channels, what is the most effective channel for your audience and analyzing your audience. How do you write effectively, and kind of just an overview. Again, we do offer business communication as an entire course. We are just going to be talking about it in one chapter, chapter 5. And some tips for dynamic delivery. So chapter 5, there are 18 slides there. Chapter 6, then, before you watch chapter 6, you may want to view the video. So go through, read chapter 5, review the PowerPoint for chapter 5, and maybe even work on the chapter 5 homework. And the chapter 5 homework, if you are looking at the chapter 5 homework, is only one page, but again, a Word doc, so you write right on there and you email that in to me. Each homework assignment is worth points toward your final grade. There are 4 questions there for you to answer. There's a short video on types of business formation, and if you're thinking about a sole proprietorship, if you're thinking about, and it's a tax accountant actually that delivers the video, the video link there. But sole proprietorship, limited liability, corporation, and S corp versus a C corp. And so, the big thing is the liability part of business formation. In sole proprietorship, you have unlimited liability. So chapter 6 gets into choosing what form of business, you entrepreneurs out there, how you may want to start your business. Or it also gives you a background on how businesses are structured, right? And so in this day and age, the best advice that I can give is for sole proprietors, maybe that start a small business, is to incorporate, right? You can even go to LegalZoom.com, and for $350, you can turn yourself into an LLC. And what that does is it really takes some of the risk out of owning a business, right? Your personal home, your personal assets are not attached to the business if you have a limited liability. It's only the assets then that are attached directly to the business. You basically work for the business then. Your business becomes its own entity and you work for the business even as the owner of the business. And then we talk a little bit about, in this chapter, corporations. There are several slides that go into the advantages and disadvantages of a sole proprietorship, of a limited liability, of an S corp, of a C corp. So go through, and there's something about a nonprofit too when you look at characteristics of businesses, advantages and disadvantages. Also, in this chapter, we define what an acquisition is, and a merger and the differences between the two, and also a divestiture. So go through corporate restructuring, go through chapter, and a little bit about franchising in this chapter. There's a big, actually not a little bit, there's a big chunk that discusses how you might go about franchising, the ups and downs of franchising, advantages, disadvantages. So go through that. Chapter 6, business formation. Again, there are accountants that specialize in business formation, and maybe they specialize in one specific corporate structuring, right? And so there is a lot to learn about different structures from a business standpoint. But this chapter basically just gives us an overview of some of the basic business formation options that are out there available to us. Now, the video, if you watch the video first for this chapter, the video that is in week 3, types of business formation, again, an accountant, it is a tax accountant, so he'll refer to in the video some tax forms, right, that go along with each different business. So a lot of it is for taxation purposes, but the video does a nice job of summing up chapter 6 before you read chapter 6 and then do the chapter 6 homework. Also for this week is our second discussion, and make sure that you go into the discussion board and with a minimum of 2 to 3 sentences explain what you found regarding a partnership formation in Pennsylvania. So relating to chapter 6, a typical partnership agreement spells out details such as the initial financial contributions each partner will make, the specific duties and responsibilities each will assume, how they will share profits and losses, how they will settle disagreements, and how they will deal with the death or withdrawal of one of the partners. All of these are very specific. I have someone right now that's dealing with the sale of real estate that is a partnership, and some of these things, because the real estate is has been owned by partners for so long, when they first purchased the real estate decades ago, they didn't break it down how each partner would get pieces of the property if a partner were to die and who were to inherit it, right? So those types of things need to be laid out from the get-go, very detailed, right? Well-written agreements can prevent common misunderstandings. So your job is to do a little research on the internet to create a checklist regarding the steps that Pennsylvania requires if you want to form a partnership, right? And so you can list this out. You can do it in 2 to 3 sentences, or you could list it out maybe in bullet points. Just see what you find. There really isn't a wrong answer. Give me, give the class a few tidbits of what you found when it comes to when you want to establish a general partnership in Pennsylvania. So specifically to Pennsylvania, what are some of the things that you might have to touch on and draw up in the paperwork? So that is your discussion question for week 3. It's your discussion number 2 of the 4 discussions. And so that will be due next Tuesday as well. So the items from this week, if you have any lingering homework, again, your homework isn't due until tonight. But if you have any chapter 1 and 2, the first week homework that you haven't turned in yet, please get that into me so you can get some points on the board. Week 2 work is due tonight. If you are having any issues, please reach out to me via email, via text, 814-490-6473. However you're able to reach out to me, and so that I can help you, right, moving forward, because we are in week 3 of an 8-week course. So chapters 5 and 6, again, if you have questions, reach out to me via email, reach out to me via text message, and I will get back to you. If you want to meet up on campus or virtually, also, I'm pretty flexible. So let me know, what works into your schedule, and I am here for you, like all of our faculty and staff at EC3. And we all wish you a great week 3 for our summer 2023 term.